one of the tribesmen is being cast into the abyss again. As Rudo was exiled and fell into the abyss, he realized and remembered that it was just the same when he was little. One of his tribe's folk was exiled, and the citizens just wondered why the tribesmen were committing a crime even if they knew that they'd be dropped into the abyss. The truly filthy beings are the citizens, who will never understand how the tribesmen think, because for the citizens, they are just impure tribespeople. Even a young kid, Rudo, is also wondering why it is that everyone is so concerned about the filth and the crooks, yet no one cares or even considers what had happened if they fell into the abyss themselves. As we continue the story, Rudo is now running from the monsters that were behind their back. He is now sprinting on the surface, heading for vengeance. The kid is clueless about what the monsters are that are chasing him, and how it is that there are monsters in the abyss. Rudo is now running for his life. The kid kept on dashing and dodging while he was running from monsters. In his mind, he was asking what the monsters were that were behind him, and what kind of world was in the abyss. Every time he looks back at the monsters, his fear increases even more. As he saw the monsters form, he thought that those monsters were like a living heap of trash. It looks like a wild beast made of garbage and scraps that just chases him out of nowhere. Again, on his mind, he is trying to ask himself how the hell the monster got there. While Rudo is running, he keeps looking over his shoulder to check if the monsters are going to catch up to him. Rudo was shocked when a monster attacked him. It swiftly dashed towards him to eat him. Luckily, Rudo's reflexes were activated, and he quickly dodged the monster. The kid was surprised by the speed and power of the monster that moved swiftly, even though it was large. As he jumped, he landed on something, and it caught his attention. Rudo's hand landed on something. It's a skull of a human, so it makes the young boy get scared and panic. He thinks that he might end up like that skull if the monster catches him. The boy is now frustrated as he's facing the monsters getting closer to him. He blamed everyone and started cursing the people above. The poor boy is alone, facing monsters that he doesn't know where they came from. He lost himself and started shouting. He is asking how dare the people banish him to the abyss, which is like a hell's cape for a young boy like him. He is not crying because he is full of hatred in his heart. Since the boy is shouting and so careless, his feet, which are stepping on a pile of garbage, suddenly slip, causing him to lose his balance and fall. He failed to grab onto something to avoid falling, so he was just stunned and let himself fall. Rudo started to fall and stumble on the pile of garbage and scraps. He can't stop rolling and falling because there's nothing to hold on to on the steep mountain of trash. As Rudo rolls through the steep mountain, the monsters are looking for him. They keep on roaring and howling, but suddenly stop out of nowhere. Below the steep mountain of scraps, there's the young boy, Rudo, who has just fallen from above. He couldn't move, and he thought that his situation was getting bad, because if it kept going, he would end up like the skull he saw earlier. The air in the abyss is dark and suffocating. If a person keeps inhaling it, it will cause a simple human's lungs to give out. Rudo has already inhaled a lot of this air, and he is catching his breath because of the polluted air in the abyss. His time is ticking, so he needs to hurry. Rudo has to escape somewhere safe quickly, because if he keeps inhaling the air or gets caught by the monster, he will end up dead. However, while he tries to figure out how and where to escape, he has just taken in the whole place. The young boy is now lying on the ground full of scraps, and around him, all can see is scraps and garbage. Rudo started to get scared while he asked himself if there was any safe place in the world, like the abyss, which was full of scraps monsters, and polluted air. He described that the abyss is like a garbage dump of an unknown world. The boy could resist the pain and started vomiting blood because of the polluted air that he had already inhaled as he entered the abyss. Because of the noise and smell made by the blood from Rudo, the monster detected his location and turned towards him as they traced the smell of blood. The monster started to rush towards him and get closer to him. Rudo couldn't move and started to ask himself if he was incapable of doing anything again, just like when he let Regdo die. Rudo fell to the ground completely and couldn't move. As he waited for his end, Regdo suddenly entered his mind, the one who had served as his parent since his real parents had abandoned him. In his mind, the face and body of Regdo on the ground covered in blood flashed back. He remembered what just happened to the only person who cared for, trusted, and loved him. His eyes widened in anger as he remembered what had happened to his most beloved old man, Regdo. When Rudo remembered Regdo, he suddenly came back to his senses. He tries to fight his body and insists that he can't be eaten or killed there. He believes that he still has things to do. He needs to know who killed Regdo, who tried to frame him, and who looked down on him. Rudo promised to beat all of them to death. He stood bravely and held a hose pipe in his hand that served as a weapon to defend himself from the monster. Even though the boy is struggling with the polluted air, he resists and moves. Rudo stares at the monster and angrily insists that he can't just die there, not until he finds the murderer of Regdo. He tightened his grip on the weapon he had just picked up out of nowhere. Rudo is no longer afraid, and all he thinks about is that he cannot die until he has avenged Regdo. He faced the monster and prepared himself to attack. Suddenly, he started to dash in full force. The persistent boy rushes towards the monster. Earlier, he was the one running, but now he's chasing the monster and starting to attack. Not far from them, someone is observing Rudo from the very first second he enters the abyss. The boy is being watched by one of the people in the abyss, and that person is just watching how Rudo ran earlier from monsters. However, he was shocked when he saw the little boy, Rudo, start to get a weapon and fight the monsters. He can't believe how brave the boy is and how powerful he is. Rudo started attacking the monsters and threw the garbage, causing the cart to emit a large amount of smoke. The boy started to run and dash towards the monsters even though he was just using a hose pipe. Rudo madly attacks the monsters who are just howling at him. The boy shouted to the monsters that they should give Rudo a break, and he cursed the monsters. Rudo mentioned that the monster's smell is worse than Regdo's farts. He throws the hose pipe he was holding with full force and is quickly flown into the air. He hit one of the monsters on his throat, and it made the monster growl. He didn't stop that. He rushed and dashed towards the monster's neck to attack again. However, after his attack, the monster also attacked him with full force, and as the monster hit him, Rudo flew into the air and couldn't defend himself because of the strength of the monster. Rudo flew away as he was attacked by the monster. Even though he tried to block the claws of the monster with his hands, he still flew out. As Rudo reaches the ground, he stands up immediately and grabs a galvanized steel and is ready to attack again. He didn't give up. As Rudo regained his strength, he tightened his grip on the steel and rushed towards the monster, swinging the steel towards the monster. The young boy used all his strength and attacked the monster with full force. It made the monster cut in half, and it was destroyed by the galvanized steel from the scraps. Rudo just laughs right after he attacks the monster and cuts it in two. As he reached the ground, he started to slowly fall to his knees because he had almost lost all his strength from his last attack. Rudo's whole body shook because he was gradually weakening. Rudo could no longer stand or move due to the weakness of his entire body. He was just kneeling on the floor after his attack when he suddenly felt something splashing towards him. He slowly looked at what was going in his direction, and he saw that it was the garbage from Monster. The young boy didn't know what to do as he saw the scraps and garbage flying in the sky towards him. He can't move his legs and will not be able to avoid or dodge it because he can't get out of his position. He might get killed if he is hit by that garbage. An umbrella suddenly showed up out of nowhere. It looked like an umbrella made of dirt and scraps. The garbage started to crush towards Rudo's direction. A lot of scraps and garbage flew, causing an explosion due to their powerful force. Rudo had already accepted his fate because he could no longer move where he was. He simply closed his eyes. However, a shadow suddenly covered the face of Rudo, and he wasn't hit by the things he expected to fall on him, so he slowly opened his eyes. Rudo was shocked as he saw what was behind the shadow covering his face. The young boy still couldn't move, and he was covered in blood. He had bruises and was still trying to catch his breath. The brave young boy, Rudo, who defeated the monster, was saved by a mysterious man with an umbrella. The man is wearing a mask with a hose connected to a sling bag that looks like it contains some air. The one who saved Rudo wears ragged and dirty clothes that look like the same clothes from the slum. Rudo can't say a word or move a thing. The man is just looking at him while Rudo is wondering in his mind who the guy in front of him is and why the man saved his life. Rudo's savior wears a creepy mask too, just like the mask of Regdo's murderer. The man started to grab the hood of the cloth of Rudo and slowly pull it, while Rudo was clueless about what the man was trying to do or where the man would bring him. However, as the man pulls Rudo and faces the back of Rudo in front of him, he kicks Rudo with his one leg, causing Rudo to vomit blood again. After Rudo vomited all the blood, he asked the man what was wrong and why the man had kicked him. But the man didn't answer him and immediately put a mask on Rudo's face that helped the boy to breathe properly. Rudo was surprised by the mask that was given to him by the man who just helped because he is now able to breathe clearly and properly. Rudo, being careful, didn't say anything and just looked at the man's face. Rudo immediately asked if the man was a human like him, but the guy who helped Rudo didn't say anything, so the young boy was clueless about why he received help from someone he didn't know. The young boy kept wondering and asking what in the world place he is in is, and what those monsters that attacked him earlier are. The guy who helped him suddenly held his mask and asked Rudo to shut up for a bit. The boy was shocked as the guy answered and waited for the next action of the guy who helped him. Due to the curiosity of the boy, he kept asking the guy about the world they are in right now, but the guy just kept on asking him to shut up and keep silent. Rudo is persistent and explained that he's fallen from above, and he has no idea what's going on. The abyss, or the underground, he wants to know where they are. The guy answered him that they are not in the underground, and asked Rudo again not make any loud noises, or just shut up. Since the man is trying to keep silent, he is whispering and Rudo can't hear it, so the young boy speaks louder and explains to the guy that he can't hear anything, so the guy should speak more clearly. The guy gets pissed and tries to repeat what he just said earlier. He reiterated to the kid that they are not in the underground yet, because they are just on the surface. The voice of the guy is rising because he gets pissed off at Rudo. The guy explained further to Rudo that the garbage all over the place is what the Sky People, together with Rudo, have dumped there. Rudo made the guy angry, so the guy mentioned again that Rudo should shut his mouth and keep quiet. While the guy scolded Rudo, he pointed his finger behind them, and Rudo saw the monsters from earlier. The guy irritably said to Rudo that because of the kid, the monsters already know that they are still there, hiding in the scraps. The young boy, Rudo, was surprised and couldn't believe that the monster behind the man was the one he had taken out earlier. His eyes widened as he saw that the monster looked like it hadn't received any damage. The guy explained that the monster behind them is called the Aberrant Beast, and those things look the same as a trash heap monster. The guy added that Rudo should listen to him, because no matter how many times he beats those monsters with a normal weapon, it's just useless. He also explained to Rudo that the beast they are facing doesn't usually respond to sounds humans make. That's why he was talking in a low voice, but Rudo started shouting. Rudo can't believe that there's a beast like that in the abyss. The guy is preparing to fight and explained to Rudo that the aberrant beasts that were spotted are special. That's why he doesn't do anything flashy to get the attention of those beasts. The guy pointed his umbrella at Rudo and insisted that he was not normally speaking that loudly and blamed Rudo for the beasts coming to them. The umbrella that was held by the guy who saved Rudo glows and emits a power as the guy tightens his grip on it. The young boy, Rudo, was surprised by what he saw, and he couldn't believe what was happening to the umbrella. The guy became calm after scolding Rudo and explained that shouting out feels so much better. Then he swung the umbrella, which caused the umbrella to change its appearance. It became an umbrella with blades and a design that was written in a different language. The man called the boy and asked Rudo to clean up. The aberrant beast started to move and rush towards them, and the guy just stood while holding the umbrella. He is waiting for the monster. As the monstrous beast started to get closer, the guy pointed his umbrella towards the beast and started to spin its handle. As the guy spins the handle of the umbrella, a tornado-like wind appears due to the strength and power of the man using the umbrella. It started to blow away other things around it. Rudo was just standing and was amazed at what he was seeing. The tornado from the umbrella slowly swallowed the monster, and the man who used the umbrella defeated the monster swiftly by spinning the umbrella, creating a tornado-like power that destroyed the whole body of the aberrant beast. The guy started to move. He swung the umbrella around him while it was spinning and emitting a tornado-like power. The young boy, Rudo, saw everything. He saw how the monster vanished and was demolished by the power of the guy who helped him. The power of the wind from the umbrella made the standing Rudo sit on the ground. He is trying to understand what's with the umbrella that was used by the man to defeat the beast. He was terrified of the power and was relieved that the monster was not coming back anymore, as the head of it fell in front of him. The mysterious guy continued attacking the other beast. He dashed here and there while swinging his sword and insisting that there were many monsters there. He jumped towards the head of one of the monsters, and he flew above the sky by just jumping. Then he uses the umbrella as he slowly falls to the ground. The man looks like he is flying and gliding. He is positioning himself above the monsters. That's why he jumps to the sky and uses the umbrella as his tool to move in the air. As he had already positioned himself at the center of the monsters he rode, he closed his umbrella and started to ride it. Unbreaker, A Tear. He stomped on the umbrella, and pushed it down to the ground. The guy fell so fast, together with his umbrella. It's too powerful. It causes the ground to break as the umbrella hits it. A huge explosion occurred because of the powerful attack of the man, which caused the monsters to vanish and be destroyed. The heads of the monsters were crushed, and they were instantly pulverized by the umbrella's power. Rudo was amazed, and he couldn't believe that by just the use of the umbrella, the monsters were defeated. There were many aberrant beasts earlier, and in just a minute, they were all wiped out by a man using the umbrella. There are lines on the ground because of the umbrella's power, and there are no monsters left after the man's last attack. There are a lot of questions inside the head of Rudo. He is wondering if the technology used on the umbrella only exists in the abyss, or if the man is just a special human. Rudo is still sitting and not moving, thinking about having the power the same as the man who defeated the monster, so he can also take out those people above who exiled him. The man started to walk towards him after defeating the beasts, and he asked if Rudo was still alive. Rudo stared at the man with destructive power. The little boy, Rudo, is so curious and asks who the man is. He badly wants to know who helped him and why. He also wants to have the same power as the man has. Because of the question of Rudo, the man stood walking towards him and slowly removed his mask to show the little boy his face. The guy had already removed his mask and introduced himself in a cool way. He is Engine, and he's just an average janitor. He smiled at Rudo to show that he was not an enemy. However, he quickly put his mask on because he smelled the stench of the abyss. He added that he took his mask off without thinking and blamed Rudo for it because Rudo made him do it. The little boy was clueless, but at least he is now safe with Engine. As the story continues, the young boy, Rudo, suddenly faints due to exhaustion and weakness in his body. As he lost consciousness, a memory from his past showed up. The scene showed that Rudo just got home, and his clothes, even his face, are full of dirt and bruises, so Rudo asked the boy what happened. The boy lied. He said that he just fell, but Rudo already knew that the kids in the slums had done it to Rudo again. The kids always beat and bullied Rudo, even though the young boy didn't do anything to them. Since Rudo had already been caught by Rudo that he was lying, the boy explained to the man that he had just told the kids that the things were alive, so the kids laughed at him. Rudo is just listening to Rudo explaining why he got beaten again. After Rudo reported and explained everything to Rudo, the man asked if Rudo had hit the kids back, as he had been beaten. The poor Rudo shakes his head sideways to answer it as no. Rudo praised Rudo's actions and felt relieved that he raised Rudo well. But the boy repeated one of the phrases that Rudo said before because he believed in it. If you cherish something for a long time, a soul will dwell in it. Rudo clarified to Rudo the reason why the boy tells the kids that things are alive. The boy didn't answer, so the man understood what it meant. He explained to Rudo that it's just an old saying, and what the phrase about a soul will dwell is about is to treasure what you have. Rudo walked towards the boy and added that he also believed in it, and that the pen may also have a soul. He gets a towel and wipes it on Rudo, while saying that the towel also has a soul too. That's how it keeps the boy clean. The boy is still understanding what the phrase means and wonders about it. Since the boy is curious about it, the cute little boy, Rudo, points at many things that he saw and asks Rudo if those things also have souls. The man laughed at the kid while he's wiping the dirt on the face of the kid, and agreed that those things also have souls. As the Rudo to Rudo, the young boy's eyes widened and look at his gloves that were given to him by Regdo. Then he asks if those gloves have souls too. Regdo smiled at Rudo and asked the boy to cherish the gloves that he gave so a soul may come to dwell in the gloves someday. The young boy looked at the man because he was still confused, but he believed Regdo had become his family ever since he was abandoned by his own parents. The dreams of Rudo ended, and he started to gain consciousness again. However, he still heard a voice saying the name of Regdo, and for him to cherish the gloves. He slowly opened his eyes while he was barely breathing, because he was still wearing a mask. Rudo is trying to analyze where he is. As Rudo fully opened his eyes, he saw the sky, but was moving like he's climbing it. He also heard chains that clanked and things scratching the ground. Suddenly, he realized that he was being chained, he couldn't move, and someone was dragging him. Rudo is being pulled by something using the chain that was tied to him. Since the boy realized his situation, he panicked and was surprised, trying to analyze what had happened and how he had been chained. He's asking what the chain was for then, heard something ask if he was already up, so he moved his eyes and looked above him. As he moved his head, he saw Engine already wearing its mask and using the umbrella as protection from the sunlight. Rudo was being pulled by Engine using the chain that was tied to him. Rudo rudely asked Engine if he is the scumbag from earlier because he didn't remember the name of the one who saved him. So Engine introduced himself again and asked Rudo if that was how the boy treated the one who saved him and to whom he owed his life. The young boy angrily asked if Engine is really a savior. Why does he do that to him and pull him using a chain? While Engine was pulling Rudo, he explained that the boy fainted because he is a nice guy. He decided to help the boy move by just pulling him using the chain. Rudo asked the man who helped him to remove the chain from him because he could move already. He insisted that he needed to get back up to the city immediately because he had unfinished business. The man who saved the boy stopped walking and pulling him. As he heard the request of the boy, he answered it in a sad voice. He apologized to the young boy and insisted that it's impossible because the place above them is what they call heaven. He started walking back and faced the boy. As he faced the boy, he moved the umbrella he was using and asked the young boy how the boy would reach the sky. The man, Engine, also added that the place above they call heaven is constantly moving, and there are other reasons beyond that, so it's impossible for the boy to go back up to the city. The boy was stunned by what he heard from the man who saved him in the abyss. Engine asked if Rudo understand everything that the man explained. Then the man asked Rudo to shut his mouth to avoid getting attention from the monsters again. The young boy, Rudo, is still thinking about what he heard. He can't believe on what just happened on his life. In just a snap, his peaceful life in the city became the worst life he had ever experienced down in the abyss. Since the boy don't want to believe everything he have learned about the city and the abyss, he insisted to the man to don't screw with him because madly want to go back to the city above. Rudo started to move and stand on his own even he is being chained. The young boy insisted that he don't care what the man said because he is going back up to the city. He added that the man said that it's just impossible right now. So the boy insisted that there's a chance. Engine is just listening to the boy and stopped from walking while he is checking for something using his binoculars. The boy asked the man that he know that the man knows something about everything and how to get up there to the heaven or the city where the boy came from. The boy also mentioned about the world they are living in, the monsters from earlier, and the power that the man have. The young boy, Rudo, added that he won't know all about it, and he was going to take all of it and use all of it to thrash all those scumbags above who exiled him. Rudo also insisted that those are the reasons why he will not going to shut up not until the man answered him and helped him about his plan. The savior of Rudo, Engine, started to get pissed to the blabbering of the young boy, Rudo, so he asked the boy to stop and removed his mask, then throwed it to the ground. As Engine removed his mask, he faces the boy and look eye to eye. He said that since the boy is insisting so much, he will teach the young boy and he will let Rudo to know what it's like to live in their world. Because of that, Rudo shut his mouth and they travel around the abyss. They continue walking and all one can see in the abyss are scraps and garbage. They entered a path that was surrounded by two mountain-like rocks. There are piles of scrap there too, and also look like a dump site, but in the abyss. As they reach their destination, Engine stopped walking, and since Rudo is still insisting for man to remove the chains and let him go, Engine throw Rudo together with the chain to the ground causes Rudo to slide on the ground. After Engine throws Rudo to the ground, the young boy bumped to the ground and saw the surrounding around him. There is a huge place surrounded by a big boulder of rocks. There are also trucks and a building. It doesn't look like the usual dump site, so he was so surprised that there's a place like that in the abyss full of scraps and monsters. Rudo is trying to figure out why Engine bring him there, and what should the next thing to do. But Engine just say to Rudo that he will leave the rest to the boy and say goodbye. Rudo panicked and asked Engine to wait for him. The man just turned around and walk away without saying a thing. He leave Rudo tied by chain and didn't answer the boy. Rudo shouted that the man haven't told him anything yet. The young boy is clueless on what he should do because the man that brings him there just leave him without saying a thing. He is now alone and kneeling on the floor while tied up. Suddenly, he heard a doors open, so he checked where it came from. As he moved his head to the direction of the sound, he saw the truck, and there is someone going out from the truck, so he was surprised that there are other living in the abyss, and it might be a monster too. From afar, the boy saw the creatures going out from the truck, so he started to panic. As the creatures from the truck go out, Rudo saw the appearance of it, and he was shocked to confirm that those are people. The people that came from the truck are wearing masks too, but it's a full face and have an inhaler on its lower part. The people of the abyss were surprised as they saw Rudo. They are confused to see a kid in there, and they are all wondering how the kid got there. One of them saw Engine earlier, so he asked the other where was the another one with the kid. They examined the appearance of the kid, and they can't believe what they saw. One of them recognized the clothes of Rudo, so they started to walk towards the kid. The other people caught the attention of the kid too, so as they got near the kid, they are very excited and asked the kid if by any chance the kid is one of those sky people. Rudo was shocked on how the people react towards him. Rudo was confused and don't know if he will tell the truth or not. The people started to argue that it's too early to assume that the boy is from the heaven or one of the sky people. They kept asking Rudo where he came from. The young boy, Rudo, answered that he fell from the heaven, and as the people heard that, each of them started removing their mask and happily rushes towards Rudo. Rudo was shocked to see the people remove their mask, and he saw that they are real human like him. The people were amazed to see him and can't believe that he is from heaven. The people never thought that they will see one alive. Rudo can't understand why the people in the abyss react like that. He is clueless and trying to understand why is it a miracle for them. The curious young boy asked the people who are they. The people didn't answer that, but instead, they kept checking on Rudo. They are still arguing if the Sky People's language is the same with them, and what if the boy is just faking it? One of them insisted that he feels that the boy is not lying. The people started to grab and hold Rudo to check if he's alive. So the people praise Rudo for doing well to stay alive as they confirm that the boy is alive and moving. Rudo got irate and moved to avoid the people. They apologize and clarify that the reason why they are checking Rudo is because most of the ones they have found were already dead. Rudo is still tied to the chains. The people saw the chains, and they felt really awful for the young boy for being roughly restrained and chained. The people started helping to get the chains off to the boy right away, and it made Rudo shocked because he never expected how the people would react to him. Because of that, Rudo thought that the people are better in the abyss than that engine guy who saved his life earlier from monsters. Then suddenly, he was shocked that the people joined forces to remove the chains tied to him, but instead put the chains to both of his hands so he couldn't escape. Rudo was surprised on what the people do to him. He thought that the people he saw are much better, but is wrong. The people explained that a rare sky person like him escaped from them before, so they tied him properly. The young boy, Rudo, tried to move and escape from the chains, but it's tight, and he can't destroy it. The people started to mock his, and says that Rudo is acting so violently when got chained. They also asked if Rudo really think that they will be nice to him. Rudo felt bad for trusting the people. The leader of the group of people clarified to Rudo that the bodies of Sky people like him can be sold for a very high price, so they need him to lock up well. The leader continued explaining to the young boy that the whole boy of the boy, like eyes, arms, legs, and even his clothes can be sold in high price because there are a lot of people down there who want them. The leader added that they never thought that they will have the privilege of catching one of the Sky people alive, so they are extremely fortunate for what happened. Selling Sky people are the Abyss people do for a living, so they were going to make a lot of money from Rudo that they just captured. It will make enough money for them to live comfortably for the rest of their lives. Rudo get mad to the people and just started at them, so the leader asked what's with the look of Rudo, and he asked if Rudo wanted to know the reason why they want Sky people like him. The leader get closer to Rudo and give him a creepy look, then explain that the reason is because they all hate the Sky people. He started telling a story to Rudo. It's about the Sky people have been dumping garbage irresponsibly for generations. All that trash and garbage fell down to them and the people of the Abyss. He added that the garbage are kept on piling up, creating a pile and mountains of garbage that it made the air in the Abyss poisonous. The waste also make the monsters even spawn because of that. The leader continued explaining that there are people who have been killed by those monsters made of garbage, there are who were crushed by the garbage that fell on them, and there are people who lost their homes because of the Sky people's land contamination. So the leader asked Rudo on what will happen if those people see a Sky person like him alive. It gives Rudo chills as he heard that, and he can't answer or talk because of the thing on his mouth. The leader kept on asking Rudo if it will be a torture or a dissection show, then it laughed. He mentioned to Rudo that after they sell the young boy, they were going to visit and observe because they will be looking forward to it. The leader took something from his back, then asked the boy why he was so curly. He poured out the contents of the bag he had taken and said that he could not let the boy die of hunger yet. He grabbed the food waste from a bag that he poured to the ground, then he poured it in the mouth of the young boy and asked Rudo to eat properly. Even Rudo don't want to eat it. the leader push it inside the mouth of the young boy. The people are laughing while Rudo is suffering and catching his breath. One of them asks if the young boy don't like the trashy food from heaven. Rudo can't answer because he is having hard time to breath due to the foods in his mouth. The other one of them insists that those are real food scraps, and the leader continue mocking Rudo. They bet that the lofty sky people won't even touch trash. The leader asks Rudo to eat because the young boy need to live. He turned Rudo's face towards him and took some food to shove into the boy's mouth. He continued reiterating to the boy that there's a long, long road of suffering ahead, and it's just waiting for the boy. The leader shoved the dirty food in the mouth of Rudo and pushed it until he reached the boy's throat. However, out of nowhere, Rudo bit the hand of the leader firmly. He didn't let go of the fingers of the leader that had started ripping the skin on the fingers. Rudo madly turned his head sideways in full force while he was biting the fingers of the leader, and it makes the leader's finger ripped. The leader was stunned on what the boy do. He saw his fingers ripped because of the bite of Rudo. The skin on the two fingers of the leaders was peeled off, leaving only the bone. The leader can't believe what happened as he saw Rudo munching the skin from his finger. The other member of the group saw the fingers of their leader and was also stunned on the action of Rudo. Their leader started to scream because of the pain, so it fell to ground, shaking his body. The other member started to move and attack Rudo. They were stunned as they saw Rudo coughing and spit some of the skin, then started to reach the food on the ground. None of them move, observing Rudo, who is eating all the scraps and food on the ground. The young boy eats like an animal, and he doesn't care if the food is dirty or not. After he finished all the scrap and food on the ground, nothing was left, and he started to swallow all of it. The members of the group was clueless to see the boy eat everything, and Rudo started to insist that those foods that the leader put on the ground is not trash. Rudo started to go crazy and insists that it can still be eaten. He looked towards the other people while he's drooling. The looks in his face is creepy and scary, making the people get terrified. The young boy began to move and broke free from the chains, having continued to lecture the other members of the group who had captured him. He keeps trying to free himself while a powerful aura, looks like flames, appeared on his hand. Rudo explained to the people that each and every one of them, in heaven or earth, trash and tribes people, above or below, should not just sort them out at their own convenience. In a snap, Rudo freed himself from the chains tied to him. It's still tied on his hand, but removed from the truck. The people were shocked seeing the boy free himself by brute force only. None of them are trying to stop the boy because they are now terrified of the capability of Rudo. They all are standing while listening to the boy who started walking towards them. As Rudo got out of the truck, he explained that he would not hold back anymore because he had always stayed silent and done whatever others pleased before. A powerful aura emits to Rudo's body, and he started to unleash extraordinary power as the things around started to fly. The things, garbage, and scraps around Rudo started to elevate and rise up in the air. The people around him panic and wonder what was happening, so they are trying to get away from him. A light reflects from one of the top of the big rocks above them. Its engine checking and watching Rudo, he confirmed that the young boy is emitting a tremendous amount of energy, and he knew that he was right about the boy. Engine started laughing and was amazed on how the boy faced alone the group of men. The young boy, Rudo, has completely lost himself. He started hearing words saying that if you cherish it, a soul might dwell in it someday. It's a saying that once said to him by Regto. While a powerful energy released from his body, he started raise his arm reaching for something. He carefully and slowly reaching the chain flying around him, while something is whispering in his ears, continuing the phrase said to him by Regto. As Rudo touched the chain, he grabbed it tighter, and he came back to his senses. His eyes widened because he was surprised on what was happening, and he is so clueless on what was the energy emitting from his body. The chain started to follow Rudo, like he's the master of it, like the saying that once said to him, if you cherish a thing, a should might dwell in it someday, and it will surely lend you its strength. The other member of the group that capture Rudo can't believe the power that Rudo is showing them. They don't want to believe that there's even on the city they call heaven that have that kind of power. Engine from afar explained that those who can bring things to life and draw power from them are what they call the giver. Just like Rudo, that is now controlling the chains like it's a weapon that have life. The leader started to shout. He don't care if Rudo is a giver and have a power or what. He insisted that he will never forgive the sky people that made them suffer, so he commanded his troops to kill Rudo. The leader keeps screaming and asking the members of the group to kill Rudo. While Rudo is standing waving the chain, the troops started to charge and attack the boy. Rudo swung the forward. It looks like he is commanding on where the chain should go. He uses the chains to attack, and as the chain hit the ground started to crash to the power of Rudo. Rudo didn't hit the people. He missed and just hit the ground, but the troops just dodges and started to attack again. One of them mentioned that they should aim at the chain because if Rudo doesn't have the chain as a weapon, he can't use his power anymore. One of the guys successfully get closer to Rudo, and he attacked Rudo's chain using his weapons, causing Rudo to let go of the chain. It causes the guy to grin, thinking that he defeated Rudo already. However, as Rudo let go of the chain, he just used his power to command a tire go to him, and as he grabbed it, he hold it with his two hands, then uses his power on it. Engine, who was watching from afar, was shocked on what Rudo did. The tire that Rudo grabbed started to be enveloped with his power, and its appearance slowly changes that turn into a kind of weapon. The tremendous power of Rudo make the guy terrified at him. The guy that attacked him, who make him let go the chain, and Engine, who is watching from afar, were surprised that he can use more than one weapon. The guy in front of him was knocked down by just seeing his powerful attack and power. He slowly turned his head towards the leader of the group, seeing the group's leader terrified, while holding his bleeding hand. The leader of the group insists on leaving the place he is sitting in while the rude person asks who the kid really is and why he has such power. Because he was terrified, he kept on cursing and shouted towards Rudo that the boy together with the sky people should go to hell because they are monsters. Rudo rushes towards the group leader and started to attack again, but Engine dashes towards Rudo and stop him before he hit the group leader. He asked the boy to stop and didn't let go of Rudo's arm. The boy came back from his senses and saw everything as Engine asked him to let the group go and just let them be. The things and garbage flying on the sky started to drop down the ground as Rudo lost control of it. He get back to his senses and asked Engine how did he do it, because he saw the tire he is holding that is covered with his power. Rudo can't understand what happened, so he kept asking how, and what did he do, and happened to the place. His nose started to bleed while he is trying to remember what just happened. The poor boy started to vomit blood, and it splattered to the ground. Engine explained that he expected the body of the boy can't hold it in, as expected of the too much power he just released. Rudo explained that as soon as he remembered, he just heard what Regto said to him and remember about the gloves given to him by Regto. As Rudo tried to understand and ask what was happened, however, Engine clarified to Rudo that it's his fault because he was merely trying to find out if Rudo have the power. The boy was surprised on what he heard. Engine caught the attention of Rudo as he promised the boy that he will teach Rudo about the world they in and also that power he have, and insists that he always need to do something in exchange for Engine. The man who saved Rudo and stopped him was Engine. He offered Rudo help, but the boy needed to come with him as a janitor because the boy's talent was what they really needed. He reached out his hand to seal their deal. Rudo thinks for a minute, but declined. He insists that he don't want to. As our story continues in the abyss, there was a man sitting in some part of the abyss, and suddenly he was alerted by a buzz sound due to his wristwatch comm system that vibrated because someone called him. He was shocked as he heard who was calling him through his watch. It was Engine, his co-janitor in the abyss. It's rare for Engine to contact him, so he listens carefully to his friend to report what happened and what he got. As Engine explained what happened as he saw Rudo, he also mentioned to his friend that he found a prodigy that shocked his friend. In the abyss, there are other places, and one of them is the one they called the underworld. Engine brings young Rudo to the underworld's treatment facility while explaining to the unnamed doctor that it just happened that he picked the boy up in the forbidden area. Rudo was shocked to see the doctor examining him because it gave him a creepy look as Engine mentioned that the boy has the ability and power. Engine added that there's something unusual about the ability of Rudo, which is why he brought him in as a janitor. The doctor kept checking him as Engine explained everything. Engine says goodbye to Rudo and will see him later after the examination, as the doctor assured Engine that will be done soon. Rudo is starting to get scared of how the doctor checks him, and Engine starts to leave the room. Rudo stops Engine from going. He asks Engine when he said that he was going to join as a janitor, but Engine asks him if Rudo has any other choice. So Rudo insisted to Engine that he had already told the man they had to get back up to heaven as soon as possible. As the two continue arguing, their conversation is interrupted by the doctor, who shouts that Rudo is lucky to be alive. The two are clueless about the reaction of the old doctor that examining his whole body. The doctor explained to Rudo that he is a big idiot for getting lost in the forbidden area, and added that if he'd breathed a little more of the air there, he would be dead. The doctor insisted that Rudo definitely got bad luck because after losing to the forbidden area, the boy had been kidnapped and almost sold for a high price. Rudo called the doctor an old man earlier, so the doctor clarified that she's an old lady, not a man. She also insisted that the young boy should thank his brother janitor, who is Engine, that saved him from what happened. Engine just smiles and says that it's nothing. After the treatment and examination, the doctor informed them and asked them to pay immediately while repeating that she is an old lady. Engine and Rudo go out of the treatment room. Outside, Rudo stopped walking and said that he was thankful to Engine for covering the treatment costs for him. However, after he thanked the man, he insisted that he just wanted to find information because he didn't have time to talk to the janitors. Engine explained to Rudo that the boy had already witnessed firsthand how the Sky People are treated down in the abyss after the kidnapping that happened to him. Engine added that Rudo can ask a lot of guys around, but sooner or later, Once the people discover the truth about it, it will be over for the boy. He slowly twisted the doorknob to leave the facility and continue explaining to the boy, Rudo, what he was just trying to say. Engine explained to Rudo that the world they are in right now isn't so kind to give any information for free. That's why Rudo should shut up and just follow him. They started to walk and leave. They walk and find a place where they can eat, and the place around them is not too different from a slum area in heaven, which is the city above them. Rudo is so hungry and starts eating while Engine is just watching him and observing him. The man helping him, Engine, mentioned that Rudo is eating so well, which reminds him that the boy threw up a lot after. Rudo just kept eating and looking around the place. As the boy wanders his eyes around him, he realizes that the abyss he thought it was is entirely made out of garbage down there, and he had no idea that there was such a thing as a proper town and food. Engine asked the name of the boy while it was eating. The young boy, Rudo, introduced himself to the man. Engine lights up a cigar and says that the boy has a nice name. Rudo stared at the man as he finished his food, waiting for the next thing they would do. Since Engine saw that the boy was finished, he stated that he would start to give Rudo a crash course on what's down there. Engine gets a glass with water and a spoon to explain to Rudo how the aberrant beasts form. He explained that along with the garbage down there, various emotions and thoughts accumulate easily. As he continued, he explained that at some point they transformed into energy and caused various phenomena, one of which is the formation of aberrant beasts. Engine explained that the beasts will attack whenever they come across a human. The beast primarily resides in the dump site area outside of town, but they could break into the town. Rudo interrupted Engine and said that if Engine is telling the truth, it would be better to fortify it more. However, Engine insists that humans are not creatures who could be cooped up all the time, and Rudo just agreed about it and feels bad. Engine added that as he explained before, ordinary weapons won't work on those aberrant beasts because the core of those beasts is a thought. He pointed to the gloves of Rudo and explained that with the use of Rudo's gloves, the boy can take the beasts down. Rudo was surprised and clueless about how he could defeat it using the gloves given to him by Regto. Engine continues to explain that it's like a knife carefully sharpened by a chef or a pen that a writer has had for a long time. Engine showed Rudo his umbrella to explain it. He mentioned that if a person uses an object for many years and treats it with care wholeheartedly, a thought will dwell in it, and they are called jinki. So as the young Rudo heard it, he remembered the saying of his old man, Regto. He confirmed that what Regto said to him was true. Engine finished explaining that only a jinki in which a thought resides can defeat the thought that the aberrant beast core has. However, Engine also warned Rudo that only a few people can draw power from those jinki that he explained, but Rudo got more interested in it. Rudo excitedly said to Engine that since he used a power to defeat the kidnappers before, he is also one of those who can draw power from them. Engine agreed that Rudo is correct and the two of them have the ability, so they will call them givers. He also explained to the boy that the janitors are the aberrant beast exterminating organization. That's why they need givers like them to defeat the beasts. The young boy already understands a reason why Engine is so eager to make Rudo a janitor. He clarifies to Engine that if he joined the organization, Engine would tell him how to get up. Engine answered Rudo that he had absolutely no idea how to get up to the city above them. Rudo was surprised by what he heard from Engine. He thought and felt like Engine really knew what he was talking about. The man clarified that he never said that he knew how the boy could go back to his city. However, he took it back and insisted that his boss is a know-it-all man, so their leader might figure out something. Rudo felt sad and disappointed on he just heard from Engine. He says that he has to meet Engine's leader first to begin with, after all that happened. However, something caught the attention of Engine. Engine asks Rudo who gave both the gloves is wearing, and it makes Rudo shocked because the man asks that kind of question out of nowhere. As the boy heard the question, he bowed his head as he felt sadder than earlier. He answered the question of the man honestly. He mentioned that the gloves were from his dad. Rudo added that for him, those gloves that were given to him by his dad are the only memento he has from his dad, Recto. Engine now understands why the boy treasures the gloves that much. He also mentioned that it appears tattered and old at first glance, but he can tell that they have been well cared for by Rudo. Engine continues explaining to Rudo to keep taking care of the important things because there are many people who are incapable of doing so. He added that those gloves of Rudo are very nice and has a soul with them, so he needs to always cherish them. The young boy felt mixed emotions about what he heard from the man who just helped him. He's about to cry as he remembers the kids teasing him, telling him that he has been wearing those ragged gloves the whole time, even though they're not the right size, and it looks like he didn't wash them. Rudo takes care of the gloves so much even look ragged and dirty, so he feels bad every time the kids tease him. Before Rudo cried, the collar on the neck of Engine started to produce a buzzing sound because someone was trying to reach out to him. He concluded his discussion with Rudo and started to stand up, but the boy called him and stopped him. Rudo bowed his head and said that he knew that it was kind of late, but he wanted to thank the man for all the help that Engine had given him. He added that if Engine teaches him a way to get up there, he will help out the janitors a bit. The man just turned his head and smiled at the boy. Rudo was surprised when Engine threw a bag full of coins to him and explained to him that, for the time being, those coins are his funds and he should spend them wisely. Rudo can't believe the man and asks if the man is sure about giving him money too, but Engine says that it's fine, because that's the money he made from selling the clothes of the boy. The young boy checked his clothes, and it was too late to realize that he was not wearing his clothes. Rudo was shocked and mad as he realized what Engine did to his clothes, but the man just explained that it's how he paid for the treatment and the food for the boy, so there's nothing to worry about. Rudo can't believe what just happened to his clothes. Due to madness, Rudo shouted that he was really going to beat up Engine. However, Engine explained to Rudo that he can't wear those clothes from above down there, so it doesn't matter anymore, or rather, it took me a while to notice. Rudo madly asked Engine to wait for him, and asked if the man is always like that, who is just doing things by telling the person involved. However, Engine didn't answer him, and just informed him that he's going to meet up with the one who is in charge, teaching Rudo everything. While Rudo is busy scolding Engine, who's not listening to him, a cat jumps above him, and right after says that he will quit right away once they tell him how to get back up there. The cat grabs the money given to him by Engine. The cat bit his coin bag and took it away. Rudo was surprised to see his money taken away by a cat that jumped and dashed swiftly toward an alley. He immediately panicked and chased the cat that had his money. Rudo shouted due to his anger and asked the cat to wait, even though he knew that it wouldn't understand him. While he is at the corner of the alley, he sees the cat run towards the other end, so he doesn't have any choice but to go inside the alley. He started chasing the cat in the dirty alley, and he saw a stick while he was running. It caught his attention, and he immediately thought that he could use it as a weapon to go after the cat. As he grabbed the stick, he didn't notice the owner of the stick, who asked him to wait because the stick was not his. Rudo quickly ran and chased the cats without asking for permission from the owner, who didn't notice standing there. Rudo successfully caught the cat and grabbed it before it could fully steal his money. He uses the stick to restrain the cat because it's a letter Y-shaped stick that helps him to easily capture the cat. He is so busy with the cat that gave him a hard time, and he still didn't notice the owner of the stick that is now walking towards him and calling him. As the owner of the stick walked towards him and came out from the shadows, the owner of the stick asked Rudo to give him the stick back because he was the owner of it. The owner of the stick gets mad and asks him to give it back. The man gets closer to him and started cursing because he got pissed of Rudo that used his stick without any permission. Rudo saw the man walking towards him and asked the man what he meant talking about. He didn't know that the man was referring to the stick and not the money, so Rudo insisted that the owner of the money is him and didn't realize that the guy was referring to the stick, so the man insisted that he's not referring to the money, which gave confusion to Rudo. The man clarified that he is referring to the stick and not the money that Rudo is after. The boy was shocked and got confused that the man was asking for the stick that he thought he had just grabbed somewhere in the alley. Before he finishes saying that it's just a stick, the man grabs and gets it from him. The man asked him to let go, but before Rudo gave it the man grabbed it already while Rudo was still holding it, which caused him to turn immediately due to the force of pull by the man. The man is so mad at Rudo, and the young boy felt terrified as the man slid his hand to the stick, which looked creepy. However, he was shocked to see the emblem on the clothes of the man, which was the same as Zenjin's emblem. The man is really mad at him and says that he shouldn't think that he can easily get away with stealing someone's jinky. Rudo's eyes widen, and he is amazed as he sees the man emit energy like him when he uses his power. As the man uses his power, the stick he is holding changes its appearance while he emits an aura and energy around him. Because of that, Rudo confirmed that the man is one of the janitors. The madman frightened Rudo that it seems that Rudo must get educated as soon as they meet, so he will give the boy a taste of his love stick. As the story continues, the man who gets mad at Rudo is Zanka, a tall and slim teenager with navy blue eyes and slicked dark brown hair styled in a mullet with blonde streaks alongside eyebrows with shaved eyebrows like 3 sticks. He started to attack Rudo with all his might, swinging the stick that he transformed into a weapon. Rudo doesn't have time to dodge and just watches Zanka attack him. The attack is powerful enough to cause things to rise in the sky while the ground shakes. He insisted to Rudo that if he stole someone's precious thing, he was supposed to be prepared for what might happen to him. Rudo was blinded by the energy emitted from the body of Zanka, so as the man attacked him, he just fell and sat on the ground. He was surprised that Zanka didn't hit him and just called him a name, Rudo the Prodigy. The boy wondered why the man in front of him knew his name and also called him a prodigy. The man started to explain to him that he already knew that Rudo is also a janitor since he had already heard much about the boy from Engine. He introduced himself to Rudo. He is with Akuta as a janitor, and his name is Zankanijik. He also added that Engine entrusted Rudo to him, and that he was in charge of educating and teaching Rudo. However, Zanka insisted that he never imagined that he had to teach the boy basic human behavior, like if you steal someone else's stuff, you'll be beaten to a pulp. Rudo tries to defend himself against Zanka. He explained that Zanka had mistaken him for a thief because he was just trying to catch the damn cat that stole his money using the stick of Zanka, thinking that no one owned the stick. Since Zanka is so pissed at Rudo, he kept scolding the kid, and Zanka insisted that he could tell by Rudo's actions that Rudo's parent didn't educate him well. It made Rudo feel bad, and he started to think about what he'd done. In Rudo's mind, he is thinking that Zanka judges him easily, even though the guy in front of him doesn't know anything about him or about Regto, who raised him and treats him as a part of the family that takes care of him. A memory from the past started to flash back in Rudo's mind. He remembers Regto teaching him about some life lessons that if he wants others to listen to him, he has to compromise first. It happened when Rudo was a little kid and got into a fight. Regto explained that if he easily loses his temper, even Chiwa will hate him. Regto added that Rudo needs to take a moment to cool his head and consider how they're feeling. Rudo remembers some of the sayings that Regto taught him, and they flash back in his mind every time he is in a tough situation. As soon as Rudo remembered, he realized everything and snapped back to reality to understand and fix the misunderstanding between him and Zanka. The young Rudo realized that he should consider others' feelings too. He checked the situation and remembered that Zanka snapped because Zanka thinks that something precious to him has been stolen from him. Rudo reflects that if someone also stole his gloves from him, he would be mad too. He now understands that it's his fault for making a misunderstanding. Even if it's hard for young Rudo, he began to ask for forgiveness and explain that he didn't mean to steal it. He added that he didn't know that it was something precious to Zanka, and he said sorry. Rudo sincerely apologized to Zanka and bowed his head as he waited for the response from Man. Zanka listens to Rudo explaining everything and asking for forgiveness. As he realizes and understands Rudo, the stick of Zanka came back to normal and calmly says to Rudo that he already understands that Rudo didn't mean to steal the stick from him. The kid was confused as Zanka apologized to him too and explained that the stick that Rudo borrowed is his treasure, so he got a bit flustered. Zanka added that he didn't mean to scare Rudo just because of the misunderstanding. In the head of Rudo, he was relieved and also happy because for the first time, he'd gotten to feel how to make peace with others. Rudo also realized that what his old man Regto said to him was right, and he was shocked by how Zanka shifted his mood. The guy in front of Rudo started to extend his arm towards Rudo and ask if the kid was also going to join the janitors. Zanka also added that he knows that things got a little tangled up, but he's looking forward to working with Rudo starting that day. Zanka helped Rudo to stand up and ask the boy which was the boy's jinky and what kind of ability the boy had. Since Rudo is still confused about everything, he answered that it's probably his gloves while showing them to Zanka. Rudo added that he's not sure what his ability to. The guy who helped him stand up and will be his ally, Zanka, came closer to check his gloves and said that the gloves that are wearing by Rudo is wearing are cool. Rudo still can't believe the shifting of mood of Zanka, and he thinks that the guy looks like a different person than before. He is trying to figure out how it happened. He thinks that it might be because of the smile. Rudo decided that it's because of the smile, so he tried it too. He remembered Regto again saying that he should fix his sour face by using a smile, and he knew that it would make such a difference to smile. While Rudo is trying to fight himself, whether he can smile or what, Zanka is explaining to him that he didn't need to tell Rudo anymore that his jinky is nothing more than a stick, because he's been mocked by those scums for it being a mere stick, but he insisted that it's still his treasure. Rudo is not listening to Zanka and is still thinking about his smile. He said that he did a lot of practicing when he was up in the city, so he thinks that it should be good by that time. The young boy decided that he would show it to Zanka, and he would show his precious smile. Rudo is not listening to Zanka, who's asking why Rudo decided to join the janitors. Rudo started to smile to show it to Zanka while answering Zanka's question. At the end, he still has a creeping smile because he is not used to it. He showed it to Zanka while explaining that he joined the janitors and will only help out until he achieves his goal. Zanka was so clueless about what Rudo does, he couldn't explain what's with the creepy face of the boy, and started to get pissed again. Zanka started shouting at Rudo and asked the boy what the hell was with that face of Rudo, and does Rudo was mocking him again. The young boy Rudo was surprised by the reaction of Zanka because he thought that they might be friends if he smiled. Rudo explained that he doesn't get why Zanka is mad at him even though he made his best to smile ever. Zanka explained to Rudo that he's not sure what kind of face Rudo is making and asked Rudo to stop giving him that creepy look. In Rudo's mind, he wondered what went wrong. He thought that it might be his eyes that were too wide and his teeth being shown. Rudo tried to smile again, but this time he closed his eyes and hid his teeth. His face is not that creepy, but it is becoming an eyesore. Because of that, Zanka gets pissed. He asked if Rudo has been freaking gone insane already, but Rudo is still clueless because he's trying to smile to show Zanka that he is a friend. They started shouting at each other. Zanka insisted that it's impossible for it to be that bad, but all he can see is that Rudo is making fun of him. Rudo answered that it's his line because he's smiling at Zanka, but Zanka still gives him an attitude. Zanka is getting pissed and mad at Rudo. He said to Rudo that he doesn't know if Rudo is getting carried away by being called a prodigy by Engine, but he risks his life every day to fight aberrant beasts and other dangers seriously. Zanka added that he bet that what Rudo want to achieve is so worthless for saying that he will only help out until he achieves his goal. Rudo stopped for a second and remembered Regdo saying that you have to change this shitty world, and that you can say it with a face that screams screw you. Rudo, remember the last testament of Regto to Rudo. The atmosphere started to change as Rudo got mad again because of what Zanka told him about his goal. The guy in front of Rudo started to get terrified because of the sudden change in Rudo's aura. Slowly, Rudo asked Zanka if he had just said that Rudo's goal is worthless. Rudo is so mad and can't contain his emotions anymore because of what he heard from Zanka. The smile on Rudo's face vanishes, and he seriously says that he is serious too, and he will give his everything to achieve his goal. Rudo emits a powerful aura and energy throughout his body. He proudly says to Zanka that they shouldn't dare to underestimate him, but Zanka is not aware of Rudo's power yet, so he prepares himself to fight Rudo because he also gets mad at Rudo's action. Zanka swung his stick and pointed it at Rudo. The stick started to change its appearance again as Zanka used his energy and Jinky to prepare himself to fight Rudo. As Zanka positioned himself and got ready to fight Rudo, he insisted to the boy that he already knew it from the moment he met Rudo that they won't get along. Rudo agreed with Zanka that they won't get along, and he grabbed some pipe and weapons from the trash near him. He uses his gloves as his Jinky and also positions himself to fight Zanka, who is taller than him. Zanka was confused and terrified as he saw Rudo use his power. As he remembered, Rudo explained that the boy's genie is the gloves, but it looks like it's not just the gloves themselves, as he saw that the pipe started to change its appearance as soon as Rudo touched it. Rudo is now in a state where no one can stop him from attacking until he finishes his opponent. He points the pipe that turns into a weapon at Zanka, who can't believe that it could be Rudo's ability. He is astonished by the energy and ability shown by Rudo. Zanka realized that Rudo's ability is turning anything and everything he touches into his own Jinki. What will happen to Rudo and Zanka? Will they be friends and get along? How can Rudo achieve his goal to go back up to his city by becoming a janitor in the abyss? Follow for the next episodes, and feel free to suggest and comment on the next manga or manhwa. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell button, and share it with your friends. Thanks.